August 15th, 1945, the Emperor of Japan Empire at that time, they fully accept the requirements of Potsdam Protocol, right? So from the perspective of international law, Taiwan back to China in 1945. Later on, Taiwan separated with mainland China, not because the invasion of other country, not because of the impact of international law, but because civil war. You may know, between 1946 to 1949, in China, we have a very tragic situation. At that time, the two major parties, one is the Communist Party of China, one is Nationalist Party of China. They fight each other. We fell into a civil war. And the result of this civil war is that Kuomintang, the so-called Nationalist Party of China, they fled to Taiwan. Then leads to the separation of Taiwan with mainland China until today, right? So basically speaking, now Taiwan and mainland China separated for a while because civil war is a result of civil war. And both sides, during when Kuomintang ran in Taiwan, both sides declared they represented the whole China. But in recent years, when DPP, Democratic Progressive Party of Taiwan, came into power, they changed their attitude. They changed their political position. They tend to legally separate Taiwan from whole China. That's something not acceptable from Beijing's perspective. So that's why in recent years, the relations across Taiwan Strait become very unstable. But up to date, the leaders in Beijing, their position looks like this. China will be unified, but Beijing side put peaceful unification on the very top. Although mainland China owns obvious military advantage, Beijing now owns a choice of use of force to unify China. But up to date, the leaders in Beijing still put peaceful unification on the very top, right? So that's the main reason why although the cross-Taiwan Strait relations has problem, but the situation around the Taiwan is still quite peaceful. But with very recent political change in Taipei, Lai Ching-te, who publicly claimed he's a Taiwan separatist. With Lai Ching-te, this Taiwan separatists came into power. Then the situation now facing some danger. And makes things worse is that although Taiwan issue basically is an internal issue of China, because as I mentioned, it's a result of the civil war. But at the very beginning, the United States involved in China's civil war. You know, during the civil war between 1946 to 1949, U.S. backed Kuomintang, backed the Nationalist Party of China, right? So to some extent, the U.S. involved in China's civil war. And after Kuomintang fled to Taiwan, the U.S. gave full support to Taiwan, including military support. So that makes the situation very complicated. Legally speaking, Taiwan issue is an issue of Chinese internal affairs. But because this historical reason, the U.S. is a party involved in this game. And on U.S. side, I think the quite high percentage of U.S. strategy want to play the card of Taiwan against mainland China. Although the U.S. side still promise to so-called one China policy. And they give the cheap lip service every day. They said we were loyal to one China policy, but their behavior betrayed their promise. You know, their behavior is to encourage Taiwan to separate. So that makes the leaders in Beijing in a very awkward situation. As I mentioned, Beijing determined to unify the whole China. That's a promise to the whole nation. On any circumstances, Beijing will not give up this stance. We will unify the whole China. Now the new situation in Taiwan in US forced Beijing authority to give more serious consideration of a non-peaceful unification. So that makes the situation looks much more dangerous than before. As all know, this year, 2024, is the general election year of the United States, right? And compared to previous election, this year the partisan politics is really get worse, right? Democrats, Biden side, they legally sued the former president Donald Trump, and put Trump in a very dangerous situation. On the other side, the Republican side, quite a lot, the Republican supporters become more and more enthusiastic to support Donald Trump. So the split of partisan politics is really get worse. Whether this election can end in a peaceful way, we don't know. As for the result, from Chinese perspective, there is no substantial differences between the two candidates. As for Taiwan, I think no substantial differences. Both of them will play the card of Taiwan. So both of them will lead to this result that they will force our leader in Beijing to make the decision in the near future. I personally believe within 5 years, there will be no Taiwan issue. We'll resolve that. Nobody can stop China. So because we will resolve Taiwan issue by use of force, that means there will be no one state, two system. No arrangement like Hong Kong. Just one state, one system. So that will be the result. So Taiwan people looks funny. They refuse the one state, two system arrangement, right? That means finally they can only face in one fate, one state, one system. I think that's will be the future end.
姐妹们总烦恼脸上细纹、干燥与暗沉，现在起跟我一起放心交给 KS Royal Face 皇家颜值逆时奇迹系列。KS Royal Face 皇家颜值逆时奇迹系列，它添加5种 EGF， 专门防止肌肤老化，强化皮肤修复，增加肌肤弹性水嫩，轻松抚平皱纹，换回青春自信。KS Royal Face 皇家颜值逆时奇迹，护肤露、全效精华、精华霜，即刻启动冻龄密码。